So we are gonna have another class inside here. We're gonna have another class. I'm gonna say private class my thread extends thread over here. No, wait a second. Implements runnable. Now there are two ways you could make a thread. You can extend the thread class, or you can implement the runnable interface. And I will always suggest that you take the second option, which is the runnable interface. Now remember, implementing the runnable interface merely doesn't make your program multi-threaded. What it does is it simply gives you a method run over here where you can write some code. You still need to create a thread. Now this run simply contains some code that will run on the main thread currently if you call mythread.run directly. So here you can go in the run method and you can call this method, which is download image using threads string URL. This is the method that we have, right? So instead of calling that over there, we can go here and we can cut this statement from the download image method. We can call it over here, download image using threads inside the run method. Now you go here inside the button click where our button will be clicked. Here we simply create a new thread by saying thread my thread equals to new thread. And if you notice the constructor, take a look at this. It takes a runnable object in the second parameter, constructs a new thread with a runnable object, and this new thread will belong to the same thread group, blah blah blah. Alright, so we're gonna use this constructor, and for the runnable, what we have is already a class over here that is my thread, which implements runnable. So we are gonna construct an object of this my thread by saying new my thread over here. And now to make things a little different, what I'll do is I'll rename the class. I'll say class download images thread, something like this. So here I could go up, make the changes by saying new download images thread, and now I can say my thread dot start. Now this will make sure that the code inside this run method runs on a separate thread. So every time the button is clicked, that is every time the user clicks download image button, there's gonna be a new thread that's being created, and that thread is gonna start off by doing the work that you want. Now let's run this and try to see what happens. Just click run here at the top. So at this point everything looked great. I click download image. Again the application crashes right in front of your very eyes, and you're like, whoa man, what the hell happened this time? So let's take a look at this. It says illegal state exception, could not execute method of the activity. And why would that be the case? It says android.os.network on main thread exception, security exception. This is the second one which we are looking at. It says permission denied, missing internet permission. So you see, to perform any internet related work, you need a permission called android.permission.internet. So go to the manifest here. You can go to the permission section, add a new permission by saying uses permission over here. Click OK. Make sure it's android.permission.internet. So there you go, android.permission.internet. Save the file, go to the manifest back, check it out. There you go, uses permission, and there's the internet over here. So at this point, if you go back to the main activity, again click here, select here, click run at the top, and we'll have to observe the logcat because the logcat is going to have those bytes which I just read one by one. So, and as you guys notice, there are a lot of bytes that are being read currently, 2552160 blah 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 1110. So these are the single bytes that are being read for the complete image from that URL. So every single byte is being read, and ultimately at the end there is a -1, due to which the while loop actually terminates. So this is how you can read bytes one by one, but that's pretty slow, you know. You don't do that. So here what we are going to do is we're going to make some changes over here. This time we're going to use a byte array by saying byte. We're going to say buffer, let's say 1024. So this time we are going to read 1024 bytes in every single shot. So this is a complete empty array that we have currently. But now what we are going to do is input stream dot read, and we're going to pass this buffer inside. So in other words, it's going to read something and it's going to fill this buffer up, and it will return us the number of characters that it has filled over here, not the bytes themselves. Now if you print red over here, it's going to be a value that indicates how many elements were filled inside the byte buffer. So again, let's run this, take a look at this in a closer level of detail. Click run here at the top, save changes. And there's the download image again. This time if I click download image over here, so as you guys notice, this returns a number of bytes that are being filled. So the first time, it means that it filled 751 elements inside the byte array. Then it filled 1024, then it filled 312, then it filled 1024, and so on. So this is how it is being reading the continuous stuff. And if you notice, it is not filling 1024 every time. Sometimes there are some different numbers that are popping up, like 537, 312, and so on. So what you want to do is, now you want to create a file output stream that's going to save the data to your SD card. As you know very well, input streams read data, output streams write data. So first, let's create a file object by saying file. Now, where should this file point? Now, that's one of the questions that you guys have, right? So environment.get external storage. Now I want to save the images to my SD card. So I'm going to say environment.get external storage public directory. And this directory is going to be environment. Well, actually, let's first experiment with this stuff. Let me put this on hold over here. Inside our on click, let me just remove this button over here. For now, I'll comment the thread part out here. Let me just say environment dot get external storage public directory environment dot directory pictures. Let's just see what is the output for this. Now this actually gives us a file object over here. So I'm going to say file equals to something like this, and of course we need to import the file object over here, IO, right? So this, let's see what this contains. So I'm going to say l.s because that is my toast over here. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say file dot get absolute file. So this is gonna give me the absolute path over here. I'm gonna say absolute path over here. Let's just print this out. So I'm gonna say download images again, click run here at the top. So there is my thing running again. So this time if we go here to our download image, there should be a toast that says /storage SD card 0/pictures. I hope you guys saw that. It was a toast that popped up for a brief period of time. So what we want to do is we want to get this absolute path, and in this path we want to add our own file. And how are we going to do that? That's very simple. Let's take the string URL, which is say string URL equals to, let's say, list of images of 0. So this list of images of 0 would be something like this, right? Which is static blah 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 wikia cookie.net, this complete thing. What I want to do is I want to give the name of the file as this little statement over here, which says arrow TV series season 2.jpg. This should be the name of the file. I want to auto generate the name of the file from the URL itself. So how can I do that? That's one of the questions that we have. So here I'm going to use a special class for that called URI. I'm going to say URI android.net URI equals to new URI. Oops, sorry, it's URI dot parse URI string, which is URL. So this is a static method called parse that's gonna take the string URL as input, and it's gonna generate a URI object. Now why would we do this? Let's take a look at this URI object by again using an l.s over here. Just copy paste this, in fact remove this file.absolute path, and here I'm gonna say URI last path segment. You see, the complete structure of the URL that you have here is considered to be made up of different segments. Like this is one segment. Every time you see a forward slash, that becomes a new segment that you have here inside the URI class. So the last path segment is gonna be this part over here, which is blah 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 dot jpg. Let me show you that in action over here. Now this time when we click the button over here by saying download images, click run here at the top again. So this time notice carefully, when I click download image on my app, you guys will see the last path segment, which is the arrow TV series blah 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 dot jpg, and that's the name of the file that we wanted to save, right? So let's use all this information that we talked about so far to construct our name dynamically and write data to that particular file. So let me remove all this. So now that you understood how to name the files and how the URI class lets you access the file names when you want on demand, it's time to dig deeper into this and complete our app by making it store that particular image on the particular folder, that is our SD card, with the specified file name which we extract straight from the URL. So in the next video, let's get this baby up and running. In the meantime, if you like what you saw, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and support us in any way you can. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.